everyone. Welcome again to Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Karla Coleman, your host, Director of Communications for New Salem Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio. Come on in to the chat. Start getting your questions ready. Actually, start rolling out your yoga mats or just find a nice, comfortable place on your floor, because today we have with us Lynette Cosby, who's going to talk to us about relaxing. And I know that when we think about relaxation, we think, oh, that's something I want. But it isn't just a want, it's a need. I mean, we need to relax, we need to restore. So Lynette's going to talk a little bit about that. Welcome, Lynette.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, glad to have you on the show. I like these types of shows because then we can really see what we could do on the other side of working and running around and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you told me earlier you're a licensed physical therapist, but you're a whole lot more. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, sure. I'm a licensed physical therapist. I have been so for just over 20 years. I work for Columbus City Schools, work with children with special needs. And I first got into yoga, integrating that with some of my treatment. That kind of inspired a passion within me. And so I decided to go for my registered yoga teacher certification. And I did that during COVID. So that was one of the positive things that come out of this pandemic. In addition to that, I am a group fitness instructor, and I have, in addition to teaching yoga, I've also taught hip hop, dance fitness of all different kinds. So I enjoy fitness in general, and I am a mom of a freshman in college.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. That's awesome. And so much fun. I mean, I did some yoga and then it stopped and then started again. But I always love the fact that when you get in the middle of it, it's like, whoo, this feels so good. So I know you have a presentation for us today. And before we jump into our chat and start asking you a bunch of questions. So you want to get started?
Sure. I just do have a couple things to say before we get moving. The first is this practice will be geared towards relaxation. So if you're used to a quick flow or a yoga that maybe is a little more strength inducing, then this may not be quite the practice that you're looking for. We're really going to focus on some deep stretching and relaxation for some stress reduction. In addition to that, if there are any moves that I present to you that are uncomfortable, please do not do them. The philosophy is that we always want to focus on with yoga is do no harm. So be kind to yourself, move with your body, and the more that you are one with yourself, you'll be able to just kind of gear into what feels good. And so do what feels good for you today.
Nice.
You can do some of our preliminary moves from sitting in a chair. So if you feel more comfortable sitting in a chair, I invite you to do that. And if you'd like to sit on the floor, on your carpet, or on a mat, I also invite you to join me that way. So we'll get started.
Awesome. I can't wait. Now I can join in from my chair. That's exciting.
You sure can. All right. So I'm going to start a little bit of music, and you'll see my dog Tiana. She likes to join me with yoga, so you'll see her walking around. You'll see my dog Tiana. She likes to join me with yoga, so you'll see her walking around. So we're going to begin in a relaxed posture. We're going to bring our shoulders up and press them back and relax. This time we're going to take a breath in through our nose, breathe in as you bring your shoulders up. Hold your breath as you bring your shoulders back, and exhale as you relax. Once more, breathe in, shoulders up. Hold, shoulders back, and exhale. Nice job. We're going to place one hand on top of our head and the other one gently behind. You're going to give yourself just a nice gentle stretch. We're stretching that upper trapezius. We often hold a lot of stress through those shoulders throughout the day. Breathe in through your nose and exhale. Breathe in once more and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. Gently release, and we'll switch sides. The other hand on top. Gently stretch to the side. Do not pull too hard. Remember, do no harm. So a gentle stretch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Once more, inhale and exhale. Nice job. We're going to bring both hands behind our head and press our elbows back, opening up your chest. Do not overextend your neck. We're going to try to bring that chest up, opening it up. Inhale and exhale. Once more, inhale and exhale. Nice job. We're going to place one hand down, and the other hand is going to come over. Very good. Again, you can do this in your chair, using your armrest. Brace yourself. Looking for a stretch here along your torso. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll bring it back up. Other side. And as we stretch, you may notice that one side is a little more flexible than the other, and that's okay. Doing these nice gentle moves, you begin to recognize your body's movements and what feels good. Now we're going to bring our feet out in front. We'll give them a little wiggle. We want to make sure that our posture is not rounded forward, but we want to bring those shoulders up. Kind of rock your hips from side to side. Very good. All right, we're going to flex and point those toes. Flex and point. We'll bring those toes all the way around in circles, both directions. Very good. You may notice if your hamstrings feel a little tight and it feels a little uncomfortable to sit in this long sitting position, you can always place the pillow or a rolled blanket underneath your knees. You can keep your knees in a slight flexed position. Now we're going to bring one leg out to the side and the other foot is going to come in a figure four. Okay? So we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to use our hands and trace our legs down. Very good. Bringing your chest close to your knee. Again, if you have tight hamstrings, you may feel a little bit of a pull, but don't overstretch. So you may be right here. Whichever feels good to you. If you're in your chair, you can place your heel forward. You can even place it on a stool. Or just simply bring your foot forward and slide your hands down your leg, just getting that stretch. Good job. Deep breath in, and rise up, and exhale. Very good. We're going to bring this leg that's extended behind us now. right? Very good. We're going to bring our hands in front, and we're going to walk our hands around that front leg. We're going to try to keep our chest open, and breathe in, and exhale. Once more, breathe in, and exhale. Nice job. In, and exhale. Very good. We'll walk those hands back around to the front. The leg that's behind us is going to extend all the way back. The front leg will be underneath us. Walk your hands forward. And you can brace yourself on your elbows. Hoping that you can see me. Very good. If you like, you can bring your hands all the way down, a nice stretch. Breathe in. And blow out. Once more, in. And out. Good. I'm going to walk those hands up. Now, that knee that's in front, we're going to extend it behind us so both legs are straight. Very good. We're going to lower ourselves down. All right, so we're here on our forearms. You'll see some people go into cobra, which is a little higher. But one thing that you should know is that you should warm up your low back before you go into that cobra stretch. And so I call this the Sphinx. You're on your forearms. It's a nice, gentle stretch. You're still here in the moment. And so just be cognizant. Don't try to overstretch the low back, creating a little compression back there. If you have any low back pain, that may exacerbate that. So just be cautious and warm up. All right, we're going to place our hands underneath us, and we're going to shift our weight all the way back so that your hands are forward, your knees and your hips are flexed. You can rest your head down. Very good. Breathe. And exhale. Now, if you're in a chair, you can stretch your hands forward on your back and still get the same position. Just with a little less hip and knee flexion. Very good. We're going to shift our weight forward onto our hands and knees. And so now we're in that tabletop position. Okay? So I'm going to shift my positioning here just a little bit so you can see me. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this hand all the way up. Look up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in. And we're going to take this hand and slide it all the way underneath. Keep sliding, 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 sliding. And place your shoulder on the mat. Good. Hopefully you're feeling a stretch through your shoulder, posterior shoulder. This is one of my favorite stretches. And if you're not there, I'll show you from a different angle what this looks like. All fours, hand up. We take that hand and we slide it underneath. And there you are. Good, breathe. And I'll have you come back up to that all four position. Okay? I'm going to walk myself around to our original view. We're going to take the other hand up towards the ceiling. Now, depending on your trunk rotation and how much stretch you have, one hand may be a little straighter if you notice this one is a little closer to the ceiling, just because I have a little stiffness there. But that's okay. Again, becoming more aware, I'm going to take that hand, knee Feel it all the way under. Slide, slide, slide. And rest that shoulder on the mat. Stop, breathe. And exhale. Breathe. And exhale. Once more. Breathe in. And exhale. Nice job. We'll come back up to that tabletop position. Very good. So from here, we're going to do our cat-cow, which a lot of you know. So you can stay in this forward positioning. I'm going to, again, position myself so that you can see what I look like. Now your hands should be placed underneath those shoulders, and your knees should be underneath your hips. Okay, so we're in that all four position. Now, when we go into our cat position, we're going to bring our gaze down, almost as if you're looking at your belly button. Okay, we're breathing in. And as we exhale, come back to the flat position. Okay, that's what we'll call neutral. Inhale, bring your gaze up. And now we're putting a slight arch in that low back for our cow. We want to make sure that we don't overextend at the neck. And we need to be very cautious of that. So, very good. Our gaze is up. Inhale. And exhale back to neutral. All right, so we'll put a little movement to inhale, gaze down, round it back, hold that breath, and exhale, neutral position, gaze is looking right down. Inhale, gaze up, curve in that low back, hold that breath, and exhale. Nice job. Inhale, gaze down, all the way down. Round it back. And exhale, neutral position. Inhale, gaze up. Very good. And exhale, neutral position. Excellent job. We're going to rotate back around. You can stay where you're at. Okay. You remember how we first got here? We were in that cobra position. And we had one knee forward. Now we're going to bring the other knee forward. So I started with my left, now I'm going to my right. And that leg's forward, and the other one is extended. Very good. We're going to walk those hands down. Very good. You may notice you're feeling a stretch right here through this hip. That's your piriformis. If you have sciatica, that is the muscle that nerve shoots right through. So you want to make sure that you are cautious if you do have a little sciatica. You can sit onto that hip a little bit. You can lessen that stretch if you like. Again, do no harm. So we're making adjustments as your body asks you to. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice job. Bring those hands up. Walk up. The leg that's extended behind. Flexes. So now we're in that side sitting position. And we're going to walk our hands to the side. Opposite side now. Keeping your chest open. Very good. And hopefully you feel a little bit of a stretch through here. Okay. Your hip flexors. You sit. You may notice some tightness through the hip flexors, right? Because we're flexed at the hip when we're sitting. And you may notice some tightness in those hamstrings because we're flexed at the knee when we're sitting. So we notice a lot of tightness in those muscles. The nice thing about taking your time with stretches is that you can begin to know what your body needs. You can move with it. So now we're going to come back to our seated position. Now let's just reset. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Very good. Once more. Deep breath in. we're going to shift our weight. Let's go back to our all four position. Okay, you there? I'm going to walk those hands up into a high kneeling position. This next one is going to seem a little familiar. We're going to first bring one leg out to the side. Make sure that foot is flat to give you a little bit of leverage. Now this hand is going to come down, almost like you're doing my little teapot, but the other hand goes over. So remember in the beginning we were seated and we did this stretch. You can do that at your desk if you like, or at home if you're on a Zoom, with your camera off, of course. This one is a little more of the extended stretch, pulling in a longer part of our torso, even part of our hip. Good job, breathe in and exhale. Once more, in and exhale. Nice job, bring that hand down. Now I'm going to challenge you just a little bit. This foot that's out is going to come forward. Okay. The leg that is behind is going to shoot out to the side, and that hand is going to come straight up. I did say we weren't going to do strengthening, but this is a little bit of strength, a little bit of a motor planning to figure out what to do with your body. This is a little bit of a challenge pose. Good job. Nice job. Bring that knee back down. Come back up. Very good. Now we're going to be in a half kneel position. We're going to bring that foot out in front, just a smidge. All right. Now that knee is going to come forward, and we're going to stretch this hip. Good. We want to make sure that whenever we do anything with that flexed knee, that our knee does not go past our toes. Good. Stretching. Now you may see some yogis bring their hands up, or right here, but you may also rest here. There are variations to everything that we do. Now we're going to shift our weight back, toes up, lean forward, and we're stretching that hamstring. From the side, it looks like this. We're not pressing down on the knee, by the way. I'm going to be resting my hands on my thighs just for extra support. And if you notice, my back is not rounded. It's nice and straight so that I can get the most out of my hamstring stretch. Good job. We're going to come back up to that half kneel, and we're going to switch sides. So I'll come back around to the front. Very good. Opposite leg goes out to the side. And out. Down like my little teapot. And over. Stretch. Very good. And hold it. Good. And up. All right, we're going to go into our challenge pose. This leg from behind is going to come in front. There we go. Half kneel, but before we go into that half kneel stretch, we're going to place that hand out, shoot that leg out. Other hand goes straight up. Good, hold it. Breathe. Nice work. And come back down. You can use that hand to support yourself. We're going to go to that half kneel position. Shift our weight forward. Check that knee. Make sure it doesn't go past those toes. And if you like to take a deep breath in, we can bring those hands up. Hands together. You bring your foot back, and we'll stand up. All right, nice job. I did throw in a challenge pose, this was true. But if I had to ask you, you probably weren't thinking about anything other than what we were doing right at that moment. And so that's the beauty of doing something that's slightly challenging or moving your body, oftentimes you can kind of take a break, a Sabbath, so you will, from all of your thoughts. So it's nice to be able to just take some time for yourself. All right, deep breath in, bring those hands up. Good, keep them up there, and exhale, forward fold all the way down, round it back with this. Very good. I'll change my positioning so you can see me. I've got my legs straight and my back is rounded. Now we're going to just kind of rotate those hands around those feet. It's a nice looser stretch. And actually I learned in Revelations from Dorienna M. So I've incorporated that into my yoga practice ever since. Resting in the middle, we're going to use our hands to trace our legs up. Now, you see my back is flat. We're going to widen our feet, bend those hips, bend those knees. Place your hands on the mat, step back with one foot. Good. Now, knees should not be past your toes. So if your toes are way back here and you're doing this, no. You want that foot forward so that your knees don't go past those toes. Okay? Very good. You can always drop your knee also. Right here. Good. Now we're going to step our foot back so that we're in our plank. Good. Hold it. Deep breath in. And exhale. Deep breath in. And knees down. Toes out. And lower. Good. Deep breath in. Sphinx. Good. And exhale. Hands back down to the side. Tuck your toes. Now we're going to press up into downward dog. Good. I'll walk my feet forward just so you can have a better view. Nice work. And we're going to step forward into a lunge on the other side. Good. Step forward. Round it back. Trace your legs up. Keep your chin tucked underneath. And exhale at the top. Good job. Deep breath in. And exhale down to the side. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. Very good. We're going to use the same technique to get back down to the floor. All right, here we go. Inhale. And exhale forward. Round it back. Lancer stretch. Hands. Trace your legs up. Flat back. Feet apart. Bend your hips and your knees. Hands down. Step back with one foot. Step back with the other. Plank. Knees down. Untuck your toes. And lower. Nice job. From here, we'll roll to our back. We're going to bring those knees up. Now, we're holding underneath our legs, not on top of our knees. So we want to make sure that we don't press our kneecaps. And from here, we're going to rotate those knees around in a circle. You can rest your head on the mat. We're giving a little massage to your low back. Good. Now we're going to keep one leg up and extend the other. Good. Bring that foot up. Rotate that ankle. Good. Nice job. Now we're going to bring that knee over. Try to keep your shoulders as close to the mat as possible. And we're stretching that low back. Nice job. We're going to come back to the middle and we'll switch sides. So bring both knees up. Extend the opposite leg. Good. Hold underneath. Good. Nice job. Rotate both directions. Bend your knee. Now we're going to bring it across. Good. Hold it. Nice job. And back to the middle. And we're going to hold there. Now we're going to bring both knees up. Now we're going to place our feet on the mat. One foot is going to come up and cross. Okay, got it? Both hands. We're going to reach underneath the leg that's on the bottom. And we're going to gently pull towards our chest. You should feel a stretch and that hip again. This is a great stretch for sciatica. You can do this seated in a chair by simply putting your foot on your knee and leaning forward. Good. Press your foot down. Switch sides. Nice job. Relax. And both feet out to an extended position. Very good. Allow your legs to rest out to the side. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale. Once more, deep breath in. And exhale. And as you're resting in this position, you may begin to scan your body, just assessing if there is any tension anywhere. Beginning at your toes, and breathe in. And imagine that you're blowing any negativity or tension out as you exhale. Imagine that you are looking down at yourself and you are bringing your gaze upon your body. So we've gone from our toes, let's go to our ankles, breathe in and exhale. Moving up to our calves, inhale and exhale. Our knees, inhale and exhale. Our thighs, inhale and exhale. And come up to our abdomen and our chest. Inhale and exhale. Moving up to those shoulders. Inhale and exhale. To your arms. In and out. Back all the way up those arms to that neck. And exhale, and then to the top of the head. Try to relax the muscles in your face. And take some deep cleansing breaths. Inhale. And exhale. position. You can certainly rest in this position for a longer period of time. This is just a little sampling of some things that you can do on your own. And when you're ready, you can simply rotate to your side and come up to a sitting position. Bring the shoulders back. Breathe in. And exhale. Good.
Wonderful.
All right.
Wow, that was great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to after rewind this and do this myself. This is going to be great. Thank you so much. Now you're probably nice and relaxed now too, right?
Well, I heard my dog in my ear, so I was trying to do a little yoga around her. And actually, you can take some of these poses and stretch for as long as you like. One thing that you'll note is that the longer you stretch, the more flexible you become. So that's why you don't want to overstretch in the beginning. If you just simply hold a stretch for a little while, as you continue to breathe, you may be able to take it a little bit further and a little bit further. So just take your time with it. There's not a rush, especially with this particular type of yoga. You can choose just a couple moves if you like. Some of the shoulder and neck stretches, I do those on a daily basis. And one thing I do want to show you is if you are in your chair, if you want to stretch that low back, you can always walk your hands around to do. Okay. So you can do a lot of these things from the chair. So you notice that one. Here's the other one that we did. Let me see if I can back up for you. You can take one leg out to the side and place your hand on your knee and then over. Okay? If you have an armrest, you can use that, or you can use another surface to kind of balance yourself on. So you can do a lot of these stretches from a chair. In addition, when we pulled our stretch back, so you can see I'm stretching my hamstring, and then I use my hands to slide down and stretch that way.
Nice.
So there are a lot of different variations. If you're in a chair, there's not a problem with that. The other one I want to show you is for that hip, where you cross your foot.
Okay.
And then lean forward.
Alrighty.
Yep, and you should feel
forward.
it.
Okay.
Do you feel it?
Yes, I do. Right in my back. It feels really good, actually.
Okay.
That's awesome. Nice.
So as you breathe, you actually relax those muscles, and with that deep stretch combination, it's a really good thing. I find that stretching is beneficial to everybody, especially as we are, sitting. We're on more Zoom calls and meetings of that nature. We need to find some ways to stretch. It's really helpful.
Yeah, hour after hour, you need to stop and stretch at some point.
You do.
And I appreciate you showing us how to stretch in your chair, because someone in a chat asked if you could do that. I didn't even have to ask you to do it. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can definitely show a few more moves if you like, but those are a few that are really, really helpful.
Great. So we had a number of questions in the chat. And so while we try to get through a few of those while we can. One is, what type of yoga moves could calms anxiety?
Can calm anxiety. Well, there are a number actually. So the moves that we did today are very calming, relaxation invoked. Some people find that movement and strengthening those challenge poses actually help calm anxiety as well. For my students at school, we like to give a little heavy work. So in addition to yoga, even some strength training helps with anxiety. Movement of any kind help. It really depends on the person. I find that taking my dog for a walk and just enjoying that the outdoors helps calm my spirit. I think
Mhm.
anything that will take your mind off of whatever your thoughts are doing. And the more that you move your body, the more that your mind can relax and let go of some things. I have the shirt on that says breathe. And of course, as we know, breathing is pertinent to life, right?
Yeah.
We've experienced a lot of hardship, knowing that people have endured this pandemic and have experienced COVID and have difficulty breathing. And so we don't realize truly, we take for granted just our breath. And that really can do a lot if you simply breathe in and breathe out. Take a moment, right? We always hear count to 10 and breathe, but that is really a good strategy. Whether you're driving in the car, whether you've had a bad day at work, or if you just need to unwind, breathing is really, really helpful to relieve tension as well. So all forms of
That was
yoga.
my Oh, I was just going to say before you go on, that was my going to be my next question about breathing, because it's just a simple thing, but it does really help a lot. It really does. And even while you're doing yoga, I know too often when I've done yoga, someone says breathe, because I'm standing there, I'm literally holding my breath. That
Yes.
happen often with your students?
Oh, absolutely. I had a student say, well, I've never breathed so much in my life, because I give a lot of verbal cues. Breathe in, breathe out, inhale, exhale, because I find that if you incorporate the breathing with the movement, it's almost like a moving meditation. It helps you relax and even move better. When you strength train, you should not hold your breath. Even if you're going hard, you should still breathe in and breathe out. Breathing helps get that oxygen to your lungs, your brain, your heart, your body. So breathing is great for just life in general. Very important.
Yeah, I know with actually I didn't realize I was holding my breath so often until I started doing yoga. And that
Yeah.
I realized even going through life, it's like you need to breathe all the time.
Yes. And within yoga, if you take different classes, there are actually a lot of different breathing techniques. So not just in through your nose and out through your mouth. Sometimes you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, and create kind of like that Darth Vader sound as you retain a little bit of that air flow. It's actually a warming breath. There are a lot of different types of breath where you can close one nostril and breathe in, and then out the other. So there are a lot of different combinations, and you may see different yoga practices incorporating that. But with all those different types of breath, there are different meanings and different reasons why you do them.
And what about balance? I know that that yoga helps with balance, and as we get older, that's an issue with many people.
Yeah, balance is really a combination of flexibility, joint stability, and then also from our inner ear, our brain tells us where our body is in space. And so you also have to have that righting reaction. So when you begin to fall, typically we pull in we first use our ankles, and then our knees, and then our hips, and then your hands. But sometimes, depending on what you're experiencing, you may go completely to your hips and then your hands, and you're not using the strength in your ankles and your knees. And then as we get older, or if you have any neurological deficits, you may just fall. And so we would find as we get older, if we don't have the flexibility and the strength for our joints to pull in that righting reaction, that's when we get those heavy falls. So balance, as you could feel when we were doing some of those movements, we're really using our input from our joints to tell us where our body is in space. So it's a combination of that strength, the flexibility, and even your inner ear to tell you where you're at. So it helps in that manner. Another form of exercise that really helps with balance is Tai Chi. Nice fluid movements, same type of thing, breathing in and breathing out. Also certified in Tai Chi. So anyhow, but that's one of the things that, can definitely assist with balance, any type of fluid movement. But again, flexibility is key, actually, and we lose that as we age. So that's really, really important.
Oh, excellent. Wow, we'll have to bring you back and do Tai Chi. That would be fun.
I'll practice on you, yes.
Okay, sounds good. So, a couple of more questions. So, what's a good stretch for back pain?
Sure. So back pain, certainly, any of that cat-cow that we did, so that flexion and that extension is good. You're rotating from the side, holding it, and also to the other side. So one thing with your stretches is that you would like to hold it for, in yoga, at least 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. That would be 1. Now, if you just would rather count seconds, at least 10 to 15 seconds, but you can hold a stretch for even longer, at least 30 seconds. The biggest thing, as I mentioned, is not to overstretch to begin with. And you may do a stretch for 3 times. So you may do the same stretch 3 times in a row, 15 seconds each. Those are good. The other thing that affects our low back is our hamstrings. So those of you who may have that low back pain, you may have tight hamstrings too. And so what is going on at your hips affects your low back because your pelvis is involved. So you want to make sure that you're stretching all of your lower extremities, your back, and even your shoulders. Because think about it, when those shoulders and that back hurts, we start to kind of clench up, and then it's not so good. And I have experienced that as well. So I often do those stretches. The ones that I showed with your foot crossed, that's a good one, even though it's not your low back, it's your hip. So that's helpful as well. And there are some things that we can do in bed or even on the floor. The ones that we ended with, our knees to our chest and rotating those knees around. I don't know about you, but that massages my low back. That's one of my very favorites. So take your time. I kind of did a sampler of some things, but take your time as you move through different poses.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question, and that is, I've experienced some yoga that's been relaxing, and then other that's very aerobic. So, is one better than the other, or do you get benefits from depending on either?
You can get benefits from all of them, just like walking is one form of movement, and so is running. So, but they're both beneficial. So that's the thing about yoga. And one thing to keep in mind as well is that the whole philosophy of yoga isn't just about the physical movement. It's really bringing in even a spiritual awareness and even a mental awareness. So I like to call it a moving meditation. I typically teach a form of yoga that's very similar to what we just did, but there are flows that you move very fluidly from one pose to another. There are more strength poses, there's hot yoga. They're all very beneficial. They may target different things, but in general, it's really to become more centered with yourself. So I don't know about you, but the more you move, the more you start to feel what your body can do as opposed to what it can't do. And then you feel a little more comfortable about yourself. Even if you have some different goals from your body perspective, moving your body you become more aware of who you are. And I don't know about you, but if you've had any kind of injury or any time where you just don't feel like yourself, don't you feel grateful when you finally get that motion back? It certainly has taught me a lot of gratitude. I'm grateful for the body that I have, and you should be too.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. It does feel good when you can feel, especially the flexibility part, when you feel more flexible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as stiff.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. And we're all work in progress. I'm not the most flexible yogi. That is something that I work on. But it's my job to make sure that everyone is safe whenever we're doing yoga. And also, I think a big part of my teaching style is just to be aware of who I am, so that I can help you be aware of who you are. So we're all very different. Some people are very, very flexible and can do certain moves, so I can ensure that they're safe when they're doing that, and they can be my example if there are some things that I can. But always try not to compare. I say we don't compare ourselves to one another. We can admire someone else's actions, just as you have some strengths as well.
I like that. I like that a lot. So one last question for you, and then I'd like for you to just give us some final recommendations and thoughts. But so why did you decide you wanted to become a yogi?
Well, like I said, I've seen a lot of benefits from working with my students with special needs, from just the benefits from calming them. And then we can even do some movement to get them excitable. We all kind of get in those lulls where we are a little, I don't know, low energy. And so we can find that movement kind of increases your brain function. I find that in school, movement before learning has really helped for just retention of materials. So I really fell in love with it from the school perspective. And then I had an opportunity to teach some teachers after school. And then I saw the benefit across all ages. So I like yoga because you can take it with you wherever you go. You don't necessarily have to have a mat to do yoga. You don't need weights. You can do it wherever you're at. And sometimes just a form of yoga is simply sitting, being still, breathing, being grateful, being mindful of the things you have, the things that the Lord has given you. And that even just being still is a form of yoga. And be still and know that I am God. And that's one of my favorite scriptures, and it helps me to just calm myself whenever I need to. So it also reminds me that there are going to be some things in life in which you need to be still, and you may not have the answers, but if you're still, that is when you can hear the direction from the Lord. So I find that breathing and being still is very, very helpful, especially in times of confusion and times of grief, and all the things that we've experienced in those tough times. That being still, and we're always on the go. We're go 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 go. Sometimes we need that to be still, just to be.
That peace and that quiet, and just like you said, so you can hear His direction. You really
That's
can.
right.
My mother used to say that all the time. I call her on the phone and I say, "Oh, blah, 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 this is going on," and she says, "Karla, just be still." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Right. And then you may find that peace and you may find that peace that surpasses all understanding. It doesn't make sense, but if you're still, sometimes just that stillness will allow you to relax enough that you can. I mean, I know that I've grappled over different scenarios, different challenges, and I can't figure out the answer, and I try and try and try to think it and analyze it, but it's not until I'm still and I'm calm and I'm not thinking about it anymore that the answers come. And so that, I think that's that piece that really doesn't make sense in our heads, but that being still allows us to just relax and allow those answers to come.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so your dog is telling us we need to wrap it up. So,
well, it's her birthday, so I think she's feeling a little neglected.
That's right. Where's my birthday biscuit? So, so just whatever final thoughts or remarks you want to make, and then well, thank you so much, Lynette. This has been awesome.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I just encourage you all to move at your own pace, do what feels good to you, do no harm, be kind to yourself, and be grateful. Find something that you're grateful for every day. And those are the things that will get you through any tough times ahead of you, any things that you have experienced in the past, whether it be trauma or um, just the pandemic in itself. But we've experienced a lot. So be kind to yourself, but also find that time to be grateful. And as you move, whether it's slow or fast, or incorporating stretching or strength, you'll be able to become more aware, more mindful of who you are, and also grateful for who you are. So thank you
Wonderful.
so much for having me
Thank
again.
you
I
so
appreciate
much.
the opportunity to share with you.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all, everyone, for joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Happy to have you here with us again tonight. This was a very different show, and I think it was the most relaxing show that I've had since I started hosting. So it's been really great. I just want to say that next week, in case you missed this, we will be, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we will be talking to a panel of breast cancer survivors who are part of our members of New Salem Baptist Church next week. So please join us as these brave women share their stories, and we have an opportunity to remember those that we've lost and those who are surviving. So thank you again for joining us. And as I always say, stay safe, stay healthy, and relax. Please relax. Have a good night.